Welcome to Chemistry Lover, and this is the first topic or first video of the series 100 topics, 100 important topics of organic chemistry. And I have actually planned for this a long time ago, but now I get the time to execute this. And throughout my research on several previous year papers of CSI NET exam or other competitive exams, I have picked these 100 topics which will be very important because questions are frequently asked from these topics, and also they are kind of fundamental topics which will help you to understand the organic chemistry in a better way, and they are not found easily in books together. You will not find all these topics together in any book. You have to search for these topics from different books, but I will present all these topics together for you, and these topics will be very helpful for you, I can promise you. So our today's topic is the axial attack. The axial attack. Now, on which substrate the attack take place? Two kind of substrates are there. It may be an cyclohexane epoxide, or it may be cyclohexene conjugated to some carbonyl group. These two substrates, when they react, you will see that always axial attack take place. But I will begin this topic with one particular example which is very famous, and that is, let's say you are given with this species, this cyclohexanone, and it is treated with first Me2CuLi, and in the second step it is treated with, let's say, ETBr. So what will be the product, right? If we just consider the first step, if we just forget the second step, then also two products are possible. So after the attack of the first step, two products are possible. That is, the methyl group, either it can be same side from the R, or it can be from the opposite side, that is this one, right? And then you will have this enolate. This itself may be one question, that only they can give you this Me2CuLi and you have to predict the answer. This itself may be a question, or it may be combined with this ETBr, and then you are left out with another options, and that are, so now again two more products are possible. That is, now this we have, and now this oxygen will come back. So now the ethyl can come from the same side, that is this one, or it can come from the opposite side, that is this ethyl, and here you will have methyl, here you will have the R group. So these two products are possible from this one, and from the other one, that is from this one, another two products are possible, and that is this R group here and the methyl group below. Now the ethyl, it can be above or it can be below. So all these four products are possible out of this reaction. Now how you will decide that which product will form? And here comes this rule of axial attack, right? Another question out of this topic may be, let's say you are given with this substrate. For example, you are given with this, here you have this tert-butyl group, and here you have epoxide which is above the plane. Okay, this is your epoxide. Now on this epoxide you are reacting with any nucleophile. I am not specifying the nucleophile, but now you can have two products. Either the nucleophile can attack from this side. So again, first of all, it will be from the below the plane, because it will be a backside attack. So either the nucleophile can come from this side and your epoxide oxygen will open here, so you can have this product. Or another possibility is nucleophile can come from here and the epoxide will open in this side, so then you will have this product. So this is also possible. Now here also which product you will get. So to solve all this question, we have to apply the rule of axial attack. So what is the rule of axial attack? Now first of all we have to, so let me begin with this epoxide problem because this is easy. So this was our epoxide Bu, and here we have this epoxide group. So now first we have to draw this molecule in its proper half chair form, because it will be in the half chair form, and that will be the reactive form of this molecule. Sorry, I will not have this group here, so I have to erase it. Yeah, so this is the structure. So how it will look like in the half chair form? So it will look like this. So now you can see I am watching from here, right? I am watching from here, so this butyl group will be above the plane, right? So how I can do it? I can make it like this. Yeah, so this is the thing, and here I will put my tert butyl group. Another way you can draw this molecule is this one. This is also possible. You can draw the molecule like this. Okay, and now you have to put the tert butyl group here, right? But this and this molecule are not same. Why? Because we can see the tert butyl group is above the plane, but here it indicates below the plane, right? So this is not correct way of drawing. This is correct way of drawing. So first step of applying this rule of axial attack is you have to draw the molecule in proper way. Both are half chair form, and there is no wrong in this, but this actually does not represent this molecule. If you have given with this substrate, for example, the epoxide above, but now the tert butyl group below, then this would represent your molecule. But because here the tert butyl group is above the plane, so that's why this particular structure will represent your molecule in proper way. Now after drawing it, what you have to do? Now your nucleophile can attack either from, so two sides are there, either it can attack from this side or it can attack from this side, and we have to see that whatever product we get from these two attacks. So if this nucleophile attacks here, what we will get? So we will get something like this. So our tert butyl group was there, Bu, this, and sorry, I did one mistake. This will not be the case. Actually, if the nucleophile attacks here, this center, what I will we will get? So we will get something like this. Yeah, this is the thing we will get. This is your nucleophile, and this is your O minus, and now your tert butyl group will be here, right? So this is your tert butyl. So this is a boat form. This is a boat form, right, which is quite unstable, and the transition state will also go through the boat form. Whereas if the nucleophile now attacks over this side, that is this one here, this side, what we will get? So now we will get, so let me draw it. Now we will get this thing. So now your nucleophile will be here, and your O minus will be here, your tert butyl group will be here. So this is the thing we will get. So now this we call the axial attack. This we call the axial attack. This we call the equatorial attack. Why? Because after you flip this molecule, what you will get? After you flip this molecule, you will get this as here you can see. So this is your tert butyl group. Now you will see that here you have the nucleophile, here you have the O minus. This is the thing we will get. So they are in the equatorial position, right? So that's why it is called the equatorial attack. But this is called axial attack because the initial product end up with two axial groups. Now always this axial attack is favorable in this type of system. Why? Because it goes through the chair-like transition state. This is the product and it will go through the chair-like transition state. Whereas equatorial attack would lead the molecule through a boat-like transition state. And we know that chair structure is always more stable than boat, and that's why you will get this product. Now in this particular case you can see the oxygen is from the same side of the butyl group, but the nucleophile, incoming nucleophile, is on the opposite side. So our correct product would be, what would be our correct product? So you can see, and this attack actually take place away from the close to the tert-butyl group. So here you have, if I number, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3. So from 3 carbon away from the tert-butyl group. So nucleophile will be 3 carbon away from the tert-butyl group. So here we have the tert-butyl group, and this is the 3 carbon away nucleophile. So this will be the correct answer, and this will be the wrong answer. So this is how you have to predict this particular type of questions. Now let's say you have another isomer of this molecule. For example, let's say you have the tert-butyl group above, but now the epoxide is below the plane. So then what will be the product, right? So now again you have to draw the molecule in its proper half chair form, and how it will be. So it will be like this. Yeah, it will be like this, and here you have the butyl group in the pseudo equatorial position. Now here your nucleophile will attack. So again you have to decide whether the nucleophile will attack here or here, but we know that we have to make the chair-like transition state and chair-like product. Now how we can get the chair-like product? So this is how we can get the chair-like product. So first draw the, this is the shortcut, first draw the product in the chair form. So here you put the butyl group, tert-butyl group, this is the chair form, and if you do this, it will be here, it will be here, yeah, butyl group, yeah. So first draw this. Now if you do this, what you have to do, you have to make the oxygen here O minus and the nucleophile here. So this is the thing you will get. Now if you draw it in the normal form, how it will look like? So it will look like butyl group over here, and now you can see this nucleophile is away from the butyl group, but it is in the same side. So here you will have the nucleophile, and here you will have the OH. So this is the product out of this reaction. So this is how you have to predict. Now let us go to the first problem, which I have told in the beginning of the video. So that was this one. So here you have this cyclohexanone system, and you have to predict what will be the product of first Me2Culi addition. So again you have to draw this in the half chair form, because it will be in the half chair form. So how the half chair will look like? So this is how the half chair will look like. Now this is again above the plane, so we will draw it in the same way as the previous one, and we make it equatorial. So the R group, we make it equatorial because any group will prefer to stay in the equatorial position. And now here you have this oxygen, right? So now Me2Culi will attack. So either the methyl group can attack from this side, or it can attack from this side, but we know that we will get the axial attack, and that will lead to the chair-like product. So first we will draw the chair-like product. This is the shortcut. So this is the chair-like product, and here, so here you have the R group. So where the methyl is attacking here. So this is the axial attack, and now you will have this enolate, right? You will have this enolate. Now again on this enolate, when you add ETBr, so either it can attack from this side or it can attack from this side, but again the rule is same, axial attack, and this is the axial attack, this from the top side, this is the axial attack. So what product you will get? So you will get the product ethyl group over here, methyl over here, R group over here, and here you have the carbonyl group. So this is the thing you will get. Now if you draw it in the normal form, how it will look like? So this R group is above the plane. Now after that you can see the methyl group is below the plane, and again the ethyl group is above the plane, and this is your oxygen. So this is how you can predict the correct answer out of this reaction. So always the rule is simple. You have to do the axial attack, and you have to make the product which goes through a chair-like transition state and not a boat-like transition state. So this is the rule. So I hope that you understood the concept behind this particular topic, that what is the axial attack. And in the next video I will talk about the idoelectronization, which is another important topic. So if you find this series helpful, watch this video till the end and share this video with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe this channel. Thank you for watching.